Hey everybody, this is Fran Fraschella, draft expert and basketball junkie. To everybody who's watching, let's get our friends at General Manager Games the subscribers they deserve. Just press that red subscriber button and immerse yourself in sports AI through GM Games content. And on Twitter, it's GM_games. Let's get after it. Let's go.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Cards here with GM Games, and it is my very happiest day of the year. I've been waiting to bring you guys this for so long. It is our first look at the new release from Draft Day Sports, and this is College Basketball 2021, the early access version. So again, the early access is sort of, not the 100% final product, but I can tell you guys, I've been on this for a while. I've played through a couple of seasons, and if it's not done, I don't know what else they can give me. It's such a great game already. So let me take you through and just show you guys some of the awesome new features the Draft Day Sports has added for the 2021 version of their college basketball game. If you guys haven't played the professional basketball game, this is the dashboard screen. Should be familiar to anybody that played the pro game, but if you guys have only played college, this is brand new to you. This is your new dashboard. So you can see here, you're getting a lot of the same information. Some team news down here. You get some player impact estimates. You can see my boy Adariel Shin carrying the load early in the season. You can see some information about next opponents, matchup stats, your team's leaders down here. Also, another really cool feature that I like about this screen is this viewing cards option over here. You can see this is listed out by position, but if you would rather have this sorted out by last name, you can do that, and it's going to sort the players alphabetically by their last name. So it gives you your own preference to sort this screen and see the information in whichever way you would like to see it. Also get some information up here about your record, win streak, that sort of thing. I believe most of that information's been around. But the thing I like the most about it is just it gives you that visual representation of all of your players, and to me, that helps with the immersion. So new setup for the dashboard is definitely new to the college basketball version of the Draft Day Sports basketball games. Now, let me get you to the absolute coolest features on the new game, and that is going to start with the player card. So we can check out my man here, Stone Cold James Colder, whatever you want to call him. I haven't figured out his nickname yet, but this boy can ball, and the first reason that he can ball is right over here in these skill ratings. Guys, if you remember, these used to be horizontal bars that would give you numerical values on the skills, and I believe there wasn't any real color coding to it. Now you can see we've got some color coding. We've got the ball handling, the drawing fouls, red. Those aren't great areas for him. He could be a better free throw shooter. He could get a little bit better on the inside shooting, but look at all the green on my boy here. So it's really cool to have that color-coded visual representation of the players' skill ratings. Another thing that you may have seen in the pro game but is brand new to college is the player types up here. So Colder is a bucket getter. That means he's just going to score in droves. He's also a defender. So there's 8 different player types you can see here. They're on all of the players, but only the ones that are filled in the darker color like this does your player actually have. But these are like sharpshooter, attacker, paint specialist, I believe. This is like magician with the ball, playmaker, and I'm pretty sure this is like a rebounder, cleaner upper type of thing. So there's 8 different player types. Not all players are going to have a player type, I'm sure. So like this guy does not have any of the 8 player types. So they don't have to have one. My guess is Shin. Yeah, look, Shin's a bucket getter. He's an attacker, and he's the cleanup artist. So everybody, there's no set. They can have 0. They can have 2 or 3. I think Shin might be 3 might be the most I've seen on somebody. But really cool there with the different player types. And this definitely has an effect on the games as you go through. Another thing that you're going to see on this screen that I don't believe was here previously, I think it was on a different screen, they're offensive and defensive proficiencies. So here you can see what offenses they already know how to run and what defenses they already know how to run. And this information has popped up on a couple of different screens this year, and it's really, really helpful. So it's great information to have. This also pops up on the strategy screen. So when you set your team's offenses and defenses, this information will show up in a color-coded representation like this for every player on your team. So straight away, you can go right into strategy, see which offenses your team is good at, and go ahead and set them. Or if you're starting something new, you'll see exactly how bad your team is at it. So this information's everywhere, and it's very helpful trying to get your team's strategy straightened out. Before I leave this screen, a couple other things. Career best and achievements. I think that this was traditionally in the player stats screen. Now we get a little snapshot. Calder so far his best game's been 28 points. Guarantee he's going to improve on that throughout this year, but you can get his career best and achievements right down here. And then also, not only, you've got player bio, player profile that gives you information about the coach team relationship, that sort of thing. Scouting report, awards won. This will also show you injury history, and like if this guy, this was a computer generated recruit, but had I recruited him, it would show you over here in awards won what he was rated coming out of high school. Player stats, game logs, most of this was already in the game, but you also get this text player option. This might have been dial previously, but we got our millennials coming along. Some people, a phone rings and you got to go grab an adult. You're not sure what a ringing phone does. You like to text. Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2021 is bringing us into the texting world. So we can just text the player, have a chat. This is also going to show up again in the recruiting screen. And I think some of the responses are even like GTG, they get they're getting their millennial on. So we got some texting going on. Now, along with all of that, you can also see we do have a little bit of rearrangement of some of our options here. Like recruiting class used to be up top, now it's over here on the left. We've got strategy down here. Practice plan is up here now. Recruit players is right here. So we've got some pretty big changes to recruiting this year. And I will tell you the first biggest change that I've already noticed is just flat out the difficulty of recruiting. It's going to be harder this year if you like to dominate this game by just bringing in monster recruiting classes. It's going to be harder this year. You're going to have to work harder at it. Whether you want to change your difficulty down a notch or whether you're excited about the new challenge, whatever it may be, it's different. I've played through a handful of seasons, and it's not easy to bring in the guys that you need to bring in. You can definitely do it with some work, but it's new this year. You're going to have to get used to it, and really makes it exciting and immersive. Like now, if you play on the brutal recruiting difficulty level and you land that stud player, like it is rewarding to bring in a good recruit now. So not that it wasn't always rewarding, but it's especially rewarding now. So let me show you a couple of new things about not only the overall recruiting page, but also the recruit cards. So first of all, let's bounce out here to the national region and look at the full recruit list. Because one of the cool things, this used to be a window that you would just scroll through with a mouse wheel. And now they've actually changed this. So we've got pages down here. So you know exactly where you are. I know sometimes I would get lost. Like I would scroll halfway down and have a recruit, and then something would happen. I would come back and I don't know where I was. Well, now I just know, like, oh yeah, that recruit's on page 3. You know where they are. So we've got the pages set up. That's pretty cool. When we get back over to our recruits here in the call watch list, again, most of my favorite changes come within the recruit card itself. Let's bring back all of our recruits real quick. So let's go check out Micah Johnson. This is going to be sort of similar over here with our skill ratings. We've always had the scout ratings available to us, but this year we're going to get it in a color-coded way, so it's just a little bit quicker to see and recognize. And sometimes it's just helpful. You want to bounce back and forth between a couple of players. And, like, I'm not looking at every single rating, but just right off the bat, I can tell, Johnson's got more yellow, whereas Strandmark here's got a lot more red showing up on this screen. So, sort of for player comparison, I think that it's helpful just to give you that snapshot, right? Player rankings have always been here. Recruit info, I believe, has always been in here. This top 10 schools list, yes, it's always been in here. You're getting a lot more information on it now, though, because of this hot, warm, cool, and this is, in my experience so far, just a handful of seasons, but this is very accurate information about how interested this recruit is in these different schools. So definitely very important to watch this, especially before these start changing. I know this is a static list for a while, and then eventually it becomes dynamic. But these indicators out here change pretty much from day one, so it's very important to watch it. But also from this screen, what you could not do before is actual recruiting actions. You can offer a scholarship from this screen. If I want to say I'm going to watch film on him, I want to host this recruit. This one's declined. I can scout him live. Over here, if this were in-home visit period, we could set up a visit, and it would actually give us all of our pitches on screen and give us a brief description of each pitch. So obviously with a guy like this, I'd probably be talking about location, but you can see all of that right from this screen. And then again, for our younger viewers, we can text them right here, and it tells us about how much of our phone time that we have left. This texting is tied into the dialing, and I mean, it's essentially the same function. So if you come out here and dial, you're going to get the same information as if you pop in here and text. But really, like from out here, all you really need to do is populate your lists. Once you have populated your watch lists, your call lists, you can do everything in here. It's got really good cycling. It's going to stay on these lists. If I just want to bounce through here, and I don't have any recruit notes just because I didn't set that up for this video, but had I been recruiting these players for several weeks, I would have notes in here. I would have information on their work ethic, their attitude, their camp performances. All that would be right here, so I could just cycle through it. If I see a guy I didn't like, take him off the list. I hit a guy that I really like. I want to bring him in and host him. He declined me as well. I want to scout him live. Whatever it is, I can do it all from right here. I can cycle through my whole list. And that cycle, if you watch, so I got Johnson is the top guy on my list. Holloway is the last. So this is going to scroll through that entire list. There's Johnson, Long, Smith, Holloway, and back to Micah Johnson. If I close that out and just say go by position, now I'm just looking at Micah Johnson. If I cycle through here, I get Kenny Johnson and right back to Micah. These are the only two guys on my list. So that cycling is going to stick to these lists. So say you're just looking for a point guard and you've got your 4 point guards or whatever. Come out here, get to your point guards, and then you can pop in, cycle right through all of them and get all of the skill ratings, all of the top schools, all of the recruit notes, everything right here from the player screen. This is such a huge improvement. I'm loving recruiting from this screen. And with the added difficulty, all this extra information that's available to you is extremely helpful. So that's the dashboard, the player cards, the recruiting. Now let's get to the actual games. Here we go. So the first change you can see right away to the sim screen is now we get to see what are our upcoming games. If you're just simming through a day at a time and you don't know, you have no idea where you're at, you can now visually see what your upcoming games look like right here. It's just going to give you 3 at any given time at most. I've never seen it be more than 3. It might be less than 3 occasionally. I would have to check that, but regardless, you're going to get some information about upcoming games in here. Also, really cool feature, if you're a guy that just likes to sim through a whole season in 30 minutes, don't stop on injury, don't stop on action emails. You want to sim the entire season, you want to sim an entire whatever it is, but you still want to halfway know, how's my team doing throughout the year, right? Well, check this out. I'm just going to sim through 7 days, and I do have up in game options. There's an option that you can default to turn user games to simulation, so you don't have that check mark. Because if you don't have that option selected, this won't work. but I've already selected that before I started here today. So our games by default are not going to be checked. They'll be simulated. But now watch, I'm just going to simulate 7 days here. I've turned off all of the stop actions. I'm just going to hit play, and you can see down here I'm getting results. I can see an injury. I get another result. I get my leader in points, assists, and rebounds, and I get my overall record. And it's color-coded. Green is a win, red is a loss. And so I can see here I had a game on 11/27, 11/28. Right now we're simming the 29th. I don't have anything else until the 1st. Now I think that we'll get there on this sim, but you can just kind of watch as it sims through and get a feel for how this works and how much more information you're getting. And for anybody that's wondering, I do have a beta version of a mod installed on here for team names and team graphics. So this did not come standard with the game. It was something that I added in myself. And that information is available if you go looking for it. But there we go again, Weber State. We won 82-62. I didn't catch who our scores were and our record and all that good stuff. But so if you're just sitting here and you want to simulate through like an entire month, but you don't want to just go into it blind and end up, oh great, I went 5-2. Wonder how that happened. You got to go back and look. Well, now they've added in those pop-up boxes so you can follow along with your team as it goes, see who your top performers were, and as it simulates December 3rd down here, you can see at the top, okay, I don't have a game on the 3rd. Now I've got it. Now I can see I got a game on the 5th and the 8th. So if I want to simulate through the next week, then I can see when those two things pop up. So guys, just tons of improvements that have been made to this year's version of Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2021. The first access is out today. I think it's Monday, February 15th. So first access is out if you're interested. Make sure that you hit the Wolverine Studios website and jump in on that first access. If you're not into first access, understand first access, things are subject to change. It's still working through and refining everything. So if you're not into first access and you want to wait for the full release, I think it's only a couple of weeks away. If you're ready for some new college basketball, it's time for you to get prepared. Start figuring out how you want to run your save, what you want to do, what your strategy is going to be. And this year's version of the game brings so many new improvements and new ways to get information, see information, interact with this world. Really get to know your players, check out their beautiful faces here. It's just such a great improvement over last year's version, which I really didn't think could be improved on that much, but they've certainly done it again. I'm so hyped for some new college basketball. So if you're looking for multiplayer leagues, they've also done a lot of improvements for the multiplayer, some quality of life stuff there, so it'll make life a little bit easier on the commissioners. Guys, if you all are looking for that, make sure you're reaching out to us, GM Games Discord, get us on Twitch, on YouTube, whatever it is. Reach out, say hey. If you all ever have questions about anything, make sure you're reaching out to us. But couldn't be more excited. So happy to bring you guys this first look today. I know I didn't touch on all of the new features, but there's just so much new about the game. It would really be impossible for me to do in this short amount of time, but those are some of the highlights for me, some of the things I think you guys are really going to get into and enjoy once you start playing around with this. So I'm going to get back to playing. I'm cutting it off here. I hope you guys appreciate the video. I hope you all are pumped for this new version of the game, and I will see you guys next time.